You beat me to it, Roger and Jim K. Good morning, crew. How's the audio? Let me know. I'm just going to try and get the old laptop fired up. Try to be slightly more organised this morning. Again, always against the clock. Here we go. Oh, like that. It's not very. Oh. It's not very warm in here, so I might put my jacket on shortly. We'll wait and see. So, we've got Kill Switch BB. Good morning, Kill Switch BB. Good to have you on board, mate. And it looks like you're having a beer. It's a bit early for me. I've got my coffee. I have actually got a coffee this morning, so it's already half gone though, and it's not particularly warm. Right, I think, yes, we should be up and running. So, how was your week? Let's start off with that. Tell me what you got up to, and then I'll run through what I was doing all this week. Some of you may know that I was away. I only got home on late Friday afternoon, actually. It wasn't Friday night. Oh, I've got a data warning. I can ignore that because it says I've used 2 gigabytes of data and I've got 40 on that phone, so we should be fine. Robert Hickey, what do you mean back after 2 years? Well, very good segue. Thank you very much. We can start with that while you're telling me all about your week. I don't know how many of you know about this or not, but well, you should do by now. But Pico Industries in the UK that make Picoscopes, Pico Technology, that's the one. Pico Technology that make the Picoscope kindly sent me 2 4-channel scopes a couple of years ago. In fact, the first time I used their new scope, I say new, it was new back then, was on the last video of the MR2 ECU fix or replace the diagnostic on that. And since then, one of the scopes has been out and about around New Zealand. I used it as a loan scope to the network of motorcycle shops that I look after, the workshops, to really highlight just how beneficial and actually necessary, I believe, these days, a scope is as part of the diagnostics on some problems. Sure, a scan tool gives you a bit of direction, but it doesn't really give you everything you need to know. You need some verification of what the problem is and hunt it down, and then you know what it is, and then you can fix it, basically. So without rambling too much, I went out and I bought one of those flight boxes, and the second scope didn't come with any leads and stuff, so I had to chuck a bit of my own money in there. I probably spent about nearly 900 New Zealand dollars just kitting this scope out for the dealers, and try and get it on camera for you. So it went out. It wasn't the official Pico box because I wanted to use something that was a bit more resilient, because it's probably I would say over the last 2 years it's probably done 40 or 50 journeys between the dealers by freight companies. So I was pretty dubious as to whether it would survive all of those trips, and whether it would actually go missing or not, because we had to get it insured for every trip, so that was pretty expensive for the dealers. But they were very, very grateful, and that's the one that went out. It's exactly the same as the one that I use. That's the spec on the back, and it really has been a massive benefit, not just for diagnosing faults, but because that was really a secondary thing. The primary aim was for the techs to get to grips with using one and to see the benefits. And a few of the dealers now have either already purchased or are in the process of getting the budget signed off to buy one. They don't need a 4-channel as such. I think one of the dealers went for a 2-channel, and they found it very, very helpful. And to have it there sat, in the service manager's office, so they can jump to it whenever they need to, is far more beneficial than having one that they have to call up, track down as well, find out which dealer's got it, and then get it sent to them. Much better, to be honest. And that was the aim. So what I've done, after 2 years of it being out there, I've decided now to reel it back in, to have it as my field scope that I keep in my truck at all times, and I've got my other one that I keep in the workshop. And it's obviously been a slightly better case as well. It's a bit more robust for when I'm traveling. And the idea now is that those dealers that have used it, which is nearly all of them, they need to make a decision and buy their own. Otherwise, if I continue to keep learning it out, that's the easy option for them, isn't it? So there you go. It made it home. We now have 2 oscilloscopes, 2 picoscopes, which is pretty damn good, to be honest. Ugh. But I haven't been tempted to buy the new Picoscope. I saw that one come out. I think it's a 6-channel one. I just don't need it. It's way too expensive for me. But Pico, if you're listening, you can always send me one if you like. That'd be great if you could. But anyway, unlikely that they'll see this live stream. Anyway, where are we? Let's see what's going on. Let's see some of the comments that have come through. Kill Switch, beer time in the UK. Envious, mate. Envious. Although I did have a couple of beers last night. Robert Hickey, what do you mean back after 2 years? Well, there you go, Robert. It's back. The scope is home. I'd actually forgotten which dealer had it. I had to ring round to find out where my scope was. Jim, no racing this week. Country limited people at events still. Oh dear. Al Elish. Hello, Andy. Good morning, Al. Good to have you on board, sir. Graham McCluckey. Good morning, Andy. We've got some very regular names going on with these live streams now, haven't we? It's great. Jim K. Busy day today. Lots of people buying ATV, ROV, and RVs from here. Yes, that is something which I have not had a haircut, by the way. You're going to laugh at this. Look at that. Mrs. Mechanic decided to bunch my hair back, which is not too sure about that, to be honest. But anyway, but I blame John the Barber. To be honest, John the Barber is in some serious trouble when I see him now. He hasn't been in contact and things are looking pretty scruffy. Yeah, Australia, certainly, to my knowledge, has shown record sales in motorcycles, ATVs and ROVs. It's been one of their best months ever for the manufacturers in selling those products. So obviously there are some upsides to lockdown. Panic buying, maybe, for the farmers. I don't know. Also, people obviously can't leave the country, so they're looking to do things in their own country and take up their own recreations rather than paying for expensive flights and going somewhere else. So, yeah, pretty good, isn't it? It's good for all of us, is that? Adrian Edhouse. Good morning, Adrian. Good to have you on board, sir. Should be playing golf this morning, but my damned alarm didn't go off. You're my second choice, Andy. Well, second choice isn't too bad, is it, to be fair? Man, this voice is cold. Jeez. Ian Watley. Hi, Andy. Good morning, Ian. Great to have you on board. Robert Hickey. My week. It's summer, and the AC in my car failed. Oh, there's nothing worse than your AC failing. Only one serpentine belt. Had to remove the compressor and install a shorter belt. Volkswagen Jetta. I'm really hot. Yes, I found if you wind the windows down and drive really fast with your head out the window, that tends to cool you down a bit. Doesn't look good though. And your fuel consumption goes out the window, literally. Steve S. What's up, Andy? Well, what's up, Andy? Good little segue. Well, I'm back. Not after 2 years. That's the Pico. But I was away in the South Island for a 12-day stint. I covered probably about 3,500 Ks, maybe slightly more. The weather down there was pretty damn cold, to be honest. Those that watched the live stream from Queenstown, it was raining, it was windy, it was cold, a lot of snow on the mountains, lots of skiers around. And I finally made my way up to Christchurch on when was it? Tuesday night? Yes, on the Tuesday night. I forget, honestly, my itinerary blurs. On the Wednesday morning, I took some time off work, which was quite nice because I'd worked the weekend. And I thought I'd better include that for my boss. I'd worked the weekend. So I took the Wednesday morning off and I went down to Aerofast. Now, Aerofast, you might have noticed on one of the previous live streams, I showed a ratchet strap that they made for me. And both Chris and Eddie showed me around their factory, basically, of where they make these straps. And we filmed the whole thing. It was great. And we filmed the process of starting off with the what do you call it? The stuff on the bobbins, the twine, the weave, I don't know, whatever it is. And they actually ran that through the machine that creates the weave and creates essentially the ratchet strap webbing. That's it, webbing. There we go, the webbing. And then we fitted, you know, the ratchet strap to it. So got it all sewn up. And then what was really impressive to me was we actually tested the ratchet strap, because each strap that they make, because they're all pretty much used in the commercial environment, has a load testing on. I mean, if that's going to focus or not for you, but this one is rated at 500 kilograms, and we put it on a test rig, which is obviously in a separate room. It was all caged off because it was going to snap at some point. And well, you're going to have to watch the video, which I haven't edited yet. It'll be out in the next couple of weeks, on that testing, because the result was unbelievable. It really was. I'm not going to show you the, well, no, I can show you the ratchet strap, because this is the one that we tested. And you might notice, those that are really observant, you might see up there, look, another ratchet strap, and it's got handy mechanic on it. How cool is that? So when it snapped, or when it failed, snapped is the wrong word actually. When it failed, the primary fail, without trying to give too much away, the primary fail wasn't the webbing. It was actually one of the hooks. Look at that. That should be a bit more like that one, with an actual hook on the end rather than a right angle. So it was actually the hook that failed and not their webbing. I'm not going to tell you the reading that it failed at, because you have to guess, and then you can watch the video and see if you're right. But when this, you know, finally bent back and the whole thing just basically launched itself across the room, the actual ratchet mechanism, which is the main mass of the ratchet strap, hit the far wall, and look at the state of that. It was like a gun going off. It was a hell of a bang. And this is one of the smaller straps that they make. Imagine if it had been a truck strap, you know, one of the 3.5-ton ratchet straps that they use on the big lorries and stuff. That would have failed at a much higher, failed at a much higher force. And of course, that kinetic energy would have fired it across the room and probably put an even bigger dent in the wall. So it was really impressive, and I'm very, very grateful to Aerofast and to Eddie and Chris and the rest of the team for showing me around well, for allowing me to go into their workshop and to see the whole thing in process. And we filmed it live. You know, there was no retakes, none of that kind of stuff. It was very, I won't say rushed, but it was just exactly as the process is done in the workshop. So, really good. So that video will be out soon, and it's probably, I mean, I was very wary about doing that kind of a video. It's very different to the kind of stuff that I do in the workshop. But I was in Christchurch and they offered, and it all sort of fell into place. So maybe, just maybe, through my industry contacts, there'll be a few more videos in the future about how it's made. You know, where Andy Mechanic goes into a factory and we go through a various process of production and see how things are made, because I watch that kind of stuff on YouTube and on TV a lot, and I really enjoy watching those kind of things. And maybe, just maybe, you guys will too. Because I've used ratchet straps all my life, but I've never really considered how they're actually made. Anyway, have a little look. Now then, Carl Brandon, hello from Texas. Good morning, Carl. Time for a bit of coffee. Steve S, hit the like button. Show Andy the love. Yes, please do hit the like button. We've got 37 people watching and 16 likes. And according to my maths, that's 21 more people need to click the like button, only if, obviously, you like the video. But this is a kind of a, you guys, the viewers, steer this video. You know, I've got a couple of things to talk about, but it really is based on your questions and comments, basically. And we end up going wherever we go. Simon Roll, what's in the box? Well, Simon, my arm still hurts. Honestly, I even struggle lifting this up. Inside here, Simon, is the second Picoscope. The one that I've had out on loan around New Zealand to various different workshops to try and, educate's the wrong word, but to try and get them to get to grips with using a scope and then to see the real benefits. And there's lots of videos already on the channel about me using the other scope that Pico Technologies sent me. I don't know why I keep calling it Pico Industries. There must be another business that I know about from years ago. So it's been really, really beneficial, and some of those dealers now have started to buy their own scopes. They've realized the necessity of having one and how much time they can save on diagnostics. The next step is training to get them all up to speed on how to use one, at least the basic stuff, you know. But there's plenty of videos on the channel on using the scope, and I do try to cover the setup during those videos as well, so that I've been telling them to go and watch the videos, basically. Drew Dastardly, are the Picoscope channels isolated? That's a very good question. Yes, I believe that they are. They all have their own separate probe and ground, so I think that's what you'd call isolated. You'll have to explain to me a bit more, because I'm not a scope expert by any means. You could speak to Eric or Ivan, or obviously Keith down at New Level Auto. They're all very, very experienced scope operators. Prior to the channel, the only exposure I'd had to scopes was Unitech, a little handheld device, which the refresh rate was terrible, but it did serve as a demonstration piece, if nothing else. Drew, haha, Andy with a man bun. Yes, I don't know if it is. I don't know what it is. It's just, at least it looks slightly better from the front, but just don't look at the back. I've got to be very careful how I turn my head. Not happy. Emery Smith, holy crap! It's 95 degrees in New York. Looks like it's cold as crap in New Zealand. It's pretty chilly. It is. I might put my coat on in a minute. We'll see. Pat Toohill. Have Mrs. Mechanic come on live, or is she scared of us? Yeah, she's not into videos, to be honest. I mean, she's been on the odd one. I think if you want to check out Mrs. Mechanic and see what my other half, her character, personality, we did the luge in, I think it was Rotorua luge years ago, and I filmed that, and she's in it. We had a great time doing that. Again, just not really a Andy Mechanic kind of video, but it's on the channel if you want to watch it. Lots of GoPro action on there and near-death experiences. Drew Dastardly, Robert Hickey, I thought about this, but it was cheaper to buy a second-hand compressor and run with a new proper-sized belt. Just didn't regas it yet. Well, don't forget, the gas acts as a lubricant, doesn't it? Because it carries the oil. So you don't really want the compressor. Make sure your compressor's turned off, that's for sure. Although it shouldn't cut in, should it? Because there's no pressure. Yeah, so it should be all right. Simply Diagnostics. Hi, Andy. Everyone, good morning. How are you? It's great to have you on board. That name keeps popping up. I must get one of your shirts, actually, as well. I'll have to send you one of mine. Definitely. I did see the post that you put up there. Now then, Robert Hickey, pulled the compressor apart, broken bits inside. Yeah, they're also a bit of a bugger to put back together again. Look like anti-seize will need a new receiver dryer and expansion valve for too much money. Yes, so all those bits have gone off around the system, unfortunately, by the sounds of it. Jim K, how much of a safety factor do you expect? Do they expect? Is that 2.3 rating? I don't want to say because it'll give it away. Gotta watch the video. It's all in the video. Drew, in my dad's case, the compressor clutch seized and the car was dead. I towed it, should have written it off, just used a second compressor for the wheel. My dad never uses AC. Okay, fair enough. So you just chucked it in there just to keep your belt. Off you go again. Robert Hickey, the belt I use is the one for the Euro model, 1120 millimeters. Works just fine. Oh, you see, there's all these little private conversations going on. It's good, isn't it? I like it. Brandon, good morning, Andy. I bought my new Tool Girl mug last week. Thanks for the awesome mug. Wow, yes, Andy's been really, really busy on Zazzle, producing some more product. Now, I have some good news, and I have some better news, and I have some relatively bad news. The good news is there's a lot more different varieties of Andy Mechanic merch to grab, basically. The even better news is there are Tool Girl mugs on there. I spent some time, and there's still a few more to design, putting those up there. And Tool Girl Holly's mug was the first one that I made, because I thought those photos that she did were fantastic, and they lent themselves very well to going on a mug, obviously. I've also done some stickers, some toolbox stickers as well for the Tool Girls, so you can grab those. They're not over expensive, to be honest. I was quite impressed. And they're also made because they're actually a bumper sticker for a car. They're actually a really good, resilient material, so they should last a long time on your toolbox. And that's what sort of tempted me to do it. I've been looking at doing stickers again for a while, and well, there you go. You've got them. You can adorn your toolbox with your favorite Tool Girl now. And the less good news is, well, there's some more reasonable good news. Zazzle have not taken down anything that I've put up there with the YouTube logo on it, which was very thankful, to be honest, but I can't now, at the moment, until I get authorization from YouTube themselves, I can't have the YouTube logo on any of the printed merch. However, I thought it'd be a little bit cunning, because obviously you might notice on the Tool Girl mugs that they're wearing, or most of them are wearing, the Andy Mechanic shirts, and of course Holly's got the Andy Mechanic leggings on there, not my leggings, the Tool Girl leggings, and that has got the YouTube logo. But so they seem quite happy for the logo to be on something in the picture, but not be printed specifically as a two-dimensional logo on the mug or whatever it is. So bit weird, because it's still there. So obviously Holly, that's one of the reasons why we did the photo shoot with Holly, so we could get the Andy Mechanic logo in its entirety with the YouTube bit on there in the photo, so people understood that it was an Andy Mechanic mug. Oh man, the lengths I have to go to, but I am working in the background to getting all that resolved at the moment, and I don't know how successful I'm going to be, but I've come up with a plan. So as long as there's a Tool Girl in the picture, we've got the logo. That's basically where it's going to come from. Anyway, let's crack on, because the comments are firing through real quick. So yes, so thank you, Brandon, for doing that. Do appreciate it. For any of you that haven't yet purchased any of the Andy Mechanic merch, you can do that through Zazzle. That's www.zazzle.co.nz. If you go onto that, just do a search Andy Mechanic YouTube, one word, and it'll take you through to the official Andy Mechanic merch store. And there's heaps of stuff on there now. So grab whatever you want, just take a look if you don't. If you do get something ordered, once it arrives, send me a selfie via email of you and your mug, ideally in your workshop. If you haven't got a workshop, maybe under the bonnet of your car or something automotive themed, or something that's passionate to you in the background. And I'll put you in the draw to win some, basically a prize pack, a giveaway pack that we're doing in December this year, 2020, where there's a lot of Teng tools, there's some Forge stuff in there as well, which is the aerosol sprays and bits and pieces that they supply me. And of course, some Andy Mechanic merch will be in there as well, some other stuff, including a bespoke Andy Mechanic jacket, just like mine. You see mine, I've got it on there, over on the roll cab, but I won't order the jacket until I know who's won. I'll get the measurements, and then I'll make sure I get the jacket that fits you properly. So it's probably going to be worth, I don't know, it's a bit hard to say at this point because there's more stuff going in. Anything from 500 New Zealand dollars to maybe up to about $1,000. It all depends how much Teng Tools stuff I can wheedle out of Brandon up at ISL Industrial in Auckland. And of course, you know, Jared's going to drop some Forge gear in there as well. And we don't really know exactly what's going to be in the pack, but believe me, trust me, it's going to be well worth grabbing. And also what I'm going to do is have a hunt around the workshop and try and grab 2 or 3 things from inside the workshop that are one-offs, that are mine, that I'm going to give to you, which you can, you know, hope maybe one day they'll be worth a bit. I don't know. To wait and see. Now, right, Simply Diagnostics Pico Flu. Roger Heaps. My father has purchased an electric side-by-side. Wow. Will be interesting to see how it goes. Have you had anything to do with them yet? I haven't yet. They're obviously on the cards, and you just confirmed that there's now one available to purchase. If you want to tell me the manufacturer, and if you can, and the model, that kind of stuff, I can do a bit of research on it. Obviously, electric ROVs, side-by-sides, call them what you like, they are definitely going to be on the cards. We've already got electric-powered motocross bikes. I think KTM brought one of those out a few years ago. I did see I think it was a Husqvarna kids 2-wheel bike, you know, like a mini motocross bike, on an advert only a few weeks ago. Pretty expensive at the moment, but silent. So no problems from the neighbours. The neighbours can't complain anymore when your kids are out tearing up the garden on their 2-strokes, because they're not on a 2-stroke anymore. So no, I haven't, but do tell me about it. Maybe if you want to send me an email, Roger, with some specs and stuff, that'd be great. Pat, yes, I've seen it. Good man. Jim K, I thought about it. It's very difficult to keep all the conversations going because it's multi-layered, isn't it? Now then, Jim K, I thought about buying a snap-on scanner with scope function. Ivan's got one of those. It's very good. Is it called the Veris? I think it is. I have a thermal imager, and that is very handy. I don't have a thermal imager, and that's definitely something that I want to get. But I want to get one that has a video output, so obviously I can include it in the videos whenever I use it. So yes, expensive piece of kit to buy. I'm sure that Fluke, I'm looking at a Fluke one if they make one. Going to happen, but if I'm going to get one, it's got to be a good one, and it has to have good image quality as well for the videos for you guys. So yes, definitely on the list, on my wish list at the moment. Now then, Simply Diagnostics. Hang on, I've got a bit of beard. There we are. Scopes open up a whole new world of understanding. It really brings home what is happening within the circuit. Exactly. I won't say which manufacturer, but manufacturers' scan tools, and the one that I use has a sort of a graph. I won't even call it a scope. It's more of a graphing function on there, and a lot of the signals are manipulated in a way that the manufacturer wants you to see them. And on that particular scan tool, you can't even test a crank angle sensor. As far as the scan tool is concerned, other than a fault code, that doesn't exist. And that to me is a fundamental flaw. You need to be able to test the signal quality of a crank angle sensor to basically diagnose potential faults with it. And you can't. So of course the scope comes in immediately for that. And it does. The scope, I found with the students when I was teaching, the scope and the image on there really helps the kids or the students to click, for all the information to click into place. They can visualize the signal and then understand what's going on when you talk them through each part of the waveform. So that sold scopes to me. Absolutely. I love using it. I really do. Kill Switch BB. Can't wait for the day flux capacitors make it into mainstream production. We'll probably do away with all testing equipment. I'll tell you, it's the future. Well, as soon as you hear them for sale, let me know, because I really would like one of those as well, because there's lots of things I could do by going back in time. I could probably start the YouTube channel maybe 10 years earlier. Give Eric the car guy a run for his money, eh? That'd be fun. Now then. Simply Diagnostics. I'll send you a shirt. Oh, here we go. I'll send you a shirt, Andy. Polo or normal t-shirt? What size, mate? Oh, that'd be really cool. And I'll obviously send you one of my Andy Mechanic shirts. And if you're really lucky, I might even get your logo embroidered on it. That would work, wouldn't it? So email me a high-res image of your logo as well, and I can do that. As regards size, this is a 2XL. It still fits just. Yeah, way too many pies and way too many Ks driving in the truck, unfortunately, over the last couple of years. But yes, that'd be great. Now, as regards what type, I think let's go for a polo shirt. I think let's go in style. Let's do a polo shirt. That'll be fantastic, and I'll look forward to seeing that. You've got the PO box address is down in pretty much all the videos, so you'll be able to find that. If not, I'll fire you an email back and give you all the information that you need. That'll be great. And I will definitely wear it for you. And I'll get your logo put on it as well, on your one. UK Weekend Workshop. 3 of your channel mugs arrived the other day from Zazzle UK. Holy moly! 3! Ireland, to be exact. They look great. I think they're awesome. I really do. I think the print quality is superb. And I did actually order some. Oh, I've actually ordered one of each of the Tool Girl mugs. Don't tell Mrs. Mechanic. Obviously, I've got to have one of each, haven't I? And I ordered Holly's as one of the thermal mugs as well, so I can have that in my car when I'm out driving. Because I must admit, I do drink a lot of coffee on the road. I noticed this by the number of empty cups in the back, on the back seat. Well, actually, wedged behind the back seat because there's too much gear in the back. So I thought, well, if I get one of those, then I can help save the environment a bit, and then I can take it in when I get my coffee from the petrol station, and then they can put the coffee in my own mug, which will look pretty cool, won't it? And it'll save the environment a bit. So I've got one of those on order, and yeah, I am really impressed. I mean, they're not a cheap mug, I must admit. Zazzle, certainly from a New Zealand dollar perspective, these are actually quite expensive. But I think overall, I mean, obviously I did all the design because, you know, I was bored at the pub one night, but I think it looks pretty cool. You know, it's got the old, I think that's the, which one is it now? We've got the Honda ATC on there, look, which is pretty cool. I do like, it's one of my favorite bikes. When I was, I think I was about 11 years old, Dad took me to Lightwater Valley in Ripon, and I rode the 70cc version. It was like a track with all my mates on birthdays. 5 or 6 was racing around, and I ran over my own leg, which is a standard thing on a three-wheeler, unfortunately. Especially when you ride motorcycles, you put your foot down and just forget there's a tire just behind it, and it runs over your leg. So UK Weekend Workshop, thank you very much for your support buying those, and please do remember to send me through some selfies in the workshop with your mugs, and I'll put you in the drawer for all that gear. Aussie Jazz, hi, good morning, Aussie. Oh, Aussie Jazz. Jim K, do you think a person is actually looking at your logo, or is it a computer? I had the issue with a credit card company that lets you put photos on the card. Well, it is actually a person. Quite annoyingly, the mugs are the product that I designed, which was actually a face mask for you guys in the States. It did go live for sale, and then it got taken down. And then I got bombarded by emails from Zazzle telling me I had to get this certificate from YouTube before they would allow me to sell any more product with the logo on. So at the moment, the store's still up and running. I think it's going to be okay. I'm just keeping my head down at the moment because there was a lot of work going into setting it all up. And the problem with the YouTube logo, and YouTube do allow creators to use the YouTube logo, because without the logo, how does anybody that's not aware of the channel already know where to look to find it, you know? But there has to be what they call free space around the logo. And of course, on this particular mug here, we've got a graphic in the background, and the logo itself is too close to the Andy Mechanic text. So it should have a clear white area around the YouTube logo. So, you know, I might have to make some adjustments just for the Zazzle store, but I'm very reluctant to do that because it'll look different to what we've got on the shirts and stuff. And I can't afford to get all the shirts remade. That's just not going to happen. So just scrolling back up again because I'm trying to cover all the comments. So Jim, hopefully that's confirmed that it was definitely a human involvement at the end for sure. UK Weekend Workshop, I think I might have a few jealous work colleagues when they see them, especially the Tool Girl Holly one. That's fantastic. I do like Holly's pictures. I must admit, she did a great job that day. And best thing is, she likes the boots that I got her, those safety boots. Some of the Tool Girls do complain by the end of the day that their feet are hurting and stuff, which, you know, I mean, come on, they're just boots. What's the problem? But Holly, not a problem. She's seems very happy wearing them, which is great. Tools and Trash, what's up? Good morning, Tools and Trash. Drew Dassedley, Andy, New Zealand, 2XL here in the USA, small. These stupid arbitrary sizes never have any rhyme or reason behind them. Nah, honestly, product now is so small over the world, and the sizing is just ridiculous. It's all over the place. I think what I'll do is I'll actually take some measurements and I'll flick those through for that shirt. Just to make sure we get it right. Tools and Trash, hell yeah, eco-friendly. Well, we do our best. We've all got to pitch in somewhere. I mean, I do a hell of a lot of Ks in the old Ute and burn a lot of diesel, so my carbon footprint is pretty high. So anything I can do to help, really. UK and Weekend Workshop. The G-Scan 2 full package. Sorry, G-Scan 2 full package has 2 channel scope in them, plus an automotive multimeter and a pulse generator. They're very useful. Very low amp stroke volts for ABS stroke crank and cam sensors, etc. For feeding back to the ECUs. I do have a little a 2-channel Picoscope, which is the one that I bought years ago, which has got a pulse generator on there as well. Which I do intend to. It only goes up to 2 volts, so it's not particularly useful for some stuff. But up to 5 volts would have been great. Anyway, Simon, good morning, Simon. Oh, I forgot your crisps, Simon. I took the crisps, as you know, all the way the second packet because I ate the first packet with Holly, all the way down to Queenstown to have them during my live stream in Queenstown. I forgot them, left them in the truck. Drove all the way back. So that packet of crisps has done an extra 3,500 kilometers now, and I've still managed not to eat them. I've been holding off, and I was going to have them this morning, and they're in the kitchen cupboard. Maybe, just maybe, Mrs. Mechanic's going to knock on the door a bit later on, and I'll get her to grab them for me, because I'm really hungry, and I just fancy a packet of Walker's cheese and onion crisps right now. So Simon, think you may save a fortune on coffee if you get a 12-volt kettle for the work truck. Well, you're absolutely right. I'm sure that would work. Unfortunately, I do struggle for storage in my Ford Ranger Ute. The back seat is folded up. I've got my field service toolkit in there, which is my own gear. I've got a big cardboard box full of other stuff like paperwork and stuff that I use for work. And then I have my big overnight bag, or in this case, like a bag that's big enough to last 2 weeks worth of clothes and stuff. So there isn't really a lot of room in my truck, unfortunately. And also the other benefit is work pays for all my coffees. Every single one of them. And I drink a lot of coffee. They are really good about that kind of stuff. You know, if you're at work in the office, we have access to a kettle and hot drinks. So the same thing should apply when you're out on the road. So they're very good to me. They look after me really well. But I will bear that in mind. Roger Heaps, Polaris Ranger EV. Okay, I'm going to Google that. I am. Let's have a little look. Polaris Ranger EV. I want some pictures. Give me some pictures. Oh yeah, look at that. This one's grey. Is it grey with little blue stickers on it? Looks like it. I want to go to the website. Yes, please. Okay. Where's the specs? Oh, it says here, look. Electric advantage. The Ranger EV needs little maintenance. Never requires gas, which is petrol in English. Works harder and rides smoother than any electric vehicle in its class. Okay. It's 30 horsepower. It's got a single 48-volt high-efficiency AC induction motor, 1,000-pound payload capacity, 1,500-pound towing capacity, 10-inch ground clearance, and enough seating for 2 humans. Wow. Cylinders displacement. I have to change that. 30 horsepower. It doesn't have any cylinders or displacement anymore, guys. Need to change that one. Fuel system. Direct drive with low noise gears. Transmission, final drive, automatic PVT-H, high, low, neutral, and reverse shaft driven. Drive system type, on-demand, true, all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, Versatrack turf mode. So that must allow like a differential action so you don't get the scrubbing of the tyres. Cooling, doesn't have any, it says. Oh, they've got it there with some pretty road-style tyres on it as well. Okay, interesting stuff there. Suspension and brakes. McPherson strut at the front. Dual A-arm. IRS 229mm travel on the rear. Front and rear brakes. Four-wheel hydraulic disc with dual bore front calipers. Dual bore. Twin piston, right? Parking brake, hand actuated. Doesn't actually say what the parking brake is, though, whether it's a disc or what. Steel wheels. Features. What features has it got? Cargo system, lock and ride. Hitch towing rating is now in kilograms, 480 kilograms, which is a little bit less than most of the ROVs now. Hitch type, standard 5cm receiver. That's about it, really. Oh, well, that's cool. It's a real step in the right direction, isn't it? And I think as time moves on, a lot of the authorities, local councils and stuff that are buying vehicles like this style of vehicle, and there's a lot of them out there, they'll be under a lot of pressure to use electric vehicles to minimise their carbon footprints as well. Be interested to see how long the battery packs last and how expensive they are to replace. Now then, we've got all sorts going on here. Jim K, you mentioned face masks here in Michigan. No shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service, starting Monday. Wow. Simply Diagnostics. Holly is great. Safety first. She is. She's a good lass, is old Holly. Robert Hickey. Jim K. What about no pants? Jim K, no pants, just fine. Wow. Drew, in the UK, we're going to get 50% off paying for cafe and restaurant meals in August. I hope my favourite greasy spoon gets involved in this scheme. Yeah, I take it that's to get people back into the cafes and stuff. Because I hear in the UK, your pubs have reopened now, which is a fantastic thing as regards being able to go to the pub. But you've got to, somebody was saying on the last live stream, you've got to book in an hour and 45-minute slot, which really just encourages binge drinking, doesn't it? You're going to go in, line up all the pints. Right, lads, the timer's started. Let's see who can down the most in the next hour and 45. And we'll have a bit of grub while we're going, you know. Interesting stuff, interesting times. And of course, the UK government, it seems, have put priority now on, as of the US, by the looks of it, priority onto getting the economy going as opposed to fighting the virus. I think somebody was saying that the US now, there was something on the news where they're trying to go, they're really going for that herd immunity over in the US. But, I mean, how's that going to work? I mean, yes, herd immunity, it's not going to get rid of the virus, is it? You won't be able to travel abroad if it's still in the country. So, I don't know. Jim K, the economy is going good. It is here. I mean, things here in New Zealand are not bad at all, to be honest. There sure. I think all the cases that are popping up now are just people that are coming into the country, being allowed into the country. That's New Zealand citizens or New Zealand residents, I believe. But they're coming in and testing positive. When I was down in Christchurch earlier this week, God, honestly, the hotel I normally stay at, the Distinction Hotel, which is right next door to the cathedral, very nice hotel. If you ever go to Christchurch, that's the place to stay. I had a booking there for 2 nights, and it got cancelled. I was there for 1 night the week earlier, and it got cancelled. And I found out that that particular hotel now is a virus storage facility. It's for the 14-day quarantine. So people flying in to Christchurch they get bussed to that hotel. It's got a big fence around it now and stuff. There's military personnel there to keep people inside, and it's full of people for 14 days. To see if they're gonna test positive or not. I would say upset, but there is a hotel right at the airport called the Novotel that's being mothballed. In my opinion, far better place to have used rather than bring these people right into the city centre. And that hotel, is now can't furnish any normal bookings, so their revenue is going to be down. I mean, I don't know how much the government's paying them to use the hotel, but wouldn't it have been logical to use the mothballed hotel at the airport and keep everything in one place? I don't know. Maybe logic doesn't come into it. Man, it is getting cold in here. I think it's because I'm sat still, not doing anything. That's what it'll be. Killswitch BB, do I hear a challenge with how much drink can be downed? Lol, I'm game. I think that's a pretty natural thing to put on the table, isn't it? If they're going to limit the pub visit to 1 hour and 45 minutes. I mean, it just spells drinking challenge to me. Does that completely? See if you can get thrown out for being paralytic before your time's up. Game on. Robert Hickey, I have to say, a lot of the world is looking at New Zealand with envy. You've done a very good job with this mess. Well, yeah, but we have. I mean, as a team, as Jacinda would say, we're 5 million strong team. But at the end of the day, the government made all the decisions, and we just did what we were told, or most of us did. We put a lot of time aside to stay locked up in the house. I mean, I was here at home for 7 weeks, didn't go anywhere. Just went from the house to the workshop, to the house, to the workshop. That's all I did. I had one little tiny walk with Marmite, maybe about 45 minutes out in the countryside, which we're allowed to do at that time. But didn't really didn't see anybody on the walk, to be honest. Marmite was very happy to. Marmite's our shop dog, by the way. I was very happy to go out for a walk, but I did it once. and didn't feel the need to do it anymore, to be honest. I was just way too busy in the workshop getting all the steel beams finished and the lighting put up and the wiring done and jobs, just stuff and shelving. I did put some nice little shelves up there with the speed holes in them. Jim, you've done it again. Stop it. Let's keep that coffee cup hot and full. Cheers, Jim. Thank you very much. You're a good man. Oh, it's cold. It's cold coffee now. Big steel bench draws all the heat of my coffee really quick. Right. Simon, pubs reopened last week. Facebook was full of videos of people fighting. What? Why would you fight? It's a pub. Go there and enjoy yourself. There's no need to fight. You should be just happy the pubs have opened. I don't get it. I really don't. I just don't get it, Simon. Humans, honestly, there's a minority out there that spoil it for the rest of us, isn't there? Drew, anyone watch Bald and Bankrupt? Never heard of it. We don't get it over here. He's great and ignored. Is it a YouTube channel? He's great and ignored COVID controls across Eastern Europe. His last video shows he only just survived the ICU in Serbia. Oh, shit. Robert Hickey. Drew Dastley, I saw that. Simon Roll, I do. Drew, was a shock to seeing him. Daz 323323. Hopefully that's not your PIN number. Hello from Christchurch. Good morning, Daz. I was in Christchurch earlier this week for 2 days. Matawix, hello again. Good morning, Matawix. Now, so again, Jim, thank you very much for your super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It will definitely buy me a coffee later in the week. Matawix, we have too many immigrants that are now coming back to take our free healthcare and welfare, mainly from India, which is rampant with corona. Apparently, half of India are so-called Kiwis. What? Killswitch, booze and egos are never good bedfellows. No, they're not. No, I suppose the drink brings out the real people, doesn't it? Oh man, I've got to take my cap up. So, I did a few videos with Tool Girl Holly when was it? A couple of weeks ago now. God, time flies. It really does. And the video was to look through her Suzuki DR200 SE farm bike. And to be honest, it's in a pretty bad shape. Now, this farm bike's history, it's been used by one customer on a farm for probably about 3 years and essentially ridden into the ground. Engine still runs. We've got it fired up. Seems okay. There was a slight tappet noise when it was first started, but that very quickly cleared. So that might have been a lubrication issue rather than a clearance problem. But I will obviously do the valve clearance as part of the service. Now, Holly made a list of stuff that it needs, and we ran out of cardboard. That's one list, so we'll start at the top. It needs chain and sprockets. It needs rear wheel bearings. It needs rear brake shoes. It needs a rear tyre because it's bald. Rear suspension linkage, well, the actual bushes, not the linkage itself. And swing arm bearings, they were shot as well, which are an absolute shit to do on those because it's a shared bolt for the rear engine mount as well, and they often seize in. So I've actually seen a bike being scrapped just for that one reason. Steering head bearings, again, like on Lily's bike, they were shot. They had indents in them, so it wasn't good. Front caliper rebuild, yeah, the caliper was binding on big time. And the pads, maybe. The pads actually looks in pretty good nick, and I've got to try and keep the cost down, so I might reuse the pads, which, terrible. It will get a new brake disc, new front wheel bearings because they were shot, and I've got to do something with the seat because the seat is in a terrible state. I do have one other spare seat that fits that bike, but it's almost as bad. With more cardboard, it's missing the gear selector for your foot. It needs new foot pegs because they're all worn out. It needs a left-hand side stand complete because that's totally missing. It needs a brake light switch, a clutch lever and a perch because that had been robbed off it. although the clutch cable is still there. It needs a new battery, obviously, a full service, and the rear wheel is again missing some spokes. So it seems that those DR200 rear wheels, especially the spokes, are not particularly good quality. So I've got a lot of work to do on that bike, and some of it is work that I haven't yet filmed on that particular model. So I'll be doing videos on those, and hopefully Tool Girl Holly will be joining me for some of those as well. That's the plan. I've got hold of Ian up at Derby's in Auckland, and he's busy trying to source all the parts for me as we speak. So we should have those in the next couple of weeks. So things are motoring on with that one. I did an ROV service yesterday. I managed to get it out in one day. And so now I've got today just to chill out a little bit, spend some time with Mrs. Mechanic. I've got the trailer to load up with the ROV. I've got a ton of tyres that I've sold to put in the trailer. And, well, on Monday, I'm taking the day off tomorrow, and I'm going to Kai Tyre. And then back to Auckland. So that's a 900-kilometre drive tomorrow, so a long way to go. And my cigarette's gone out. What the hell? Oh, Jim K. Man bun, really. Sorry, Jim. Mrs. Mechanic attacked me this morning and said, there's no way you're going on the live stream with hair looking like that. I was hoping you wouldn't notice. She said it'd hide under my cap. It doesn't hide under my cap. I'm in trouble now. I blame the barber. Barber John, he's not answering my calls at the moment. I think he's gone into lockdown. I don't know what's happening. He's supposed to have come down over a month ago and cut my hair. It's getting out of control. And... yeah, sorry. I feel bad now. Matowix, how is the DR200? Well, Tool Girl Lilli's is outside. I've actually just I picked up, oh, my arm, honestly, it hurts. I picked up a couple of mirrors because her bike is fully road legal. So it needs the two new mirrors fitting, and then I can get it down for a warranty fitness, and then it's good to go. I've put the Reg on hold for now because she doesn't want to ride it in the winter. It's too cold and too wet, she says. But come the spring, she'll be on that bike and learning how to ride properly and hopefully getting a motorcycle license. That's the plan. My DR200 SE was mint, mainly road riding. Good. Well, Lily's is pretty damn good as well now, to be honest. She wants to paint it, so I said she could. That's fine. No problem with that. The fuel tank has got a few little rust spots on it where the paint's rubbed off. In a farm environment, you get a lot of dirt on your legs, and of course it acts like an abrasive against the tank, so it's pretty standard on those farm bikes. Jim K, does the DR have a steel or plastic tank? It has a steel tank. Both of them do. The proper farm bike, which is what Holly's got, the farm variant, has a white steel fuel tank, and on Lily's it's a smaller black tank. I believe the frames between the two bikes are the same. I think they are. Jim K, does the here we go. Matowix, do a live compression test on the DR200. Yeah, we should do that. Drew Dassley, the bike was restored to perfection. IIRC. What does that mean? After a few rounds with Holly, it's shot to pieces. No. It's a different bike. It's all right. It wasn't Lily's bike we were looking at. It was another bike. Lily's bike is quite safe, but I do admit there's a lot of work to do on Holly's bike. Hell of a lot of work. But hey, that's what the videos are all about, isn't it? You know, if I was just picking bikes that had one little problem, it'd be boring. So, and it's nice to resurrect a bike and give it another life, you know, because it was destined for the scrap heap. That's where it was going. It was going to get crushed. Matowix, mine was steel, Jim. Wow, that DR has had a thrashing. How worn out is the motor? The motor's fine, actually. I think the farm bikes tend not to do a lot of kilometers. They just don't get maintained very well. That's the problem with them, and they're operating in quite a harsh environment. But normally the engines are pretty good. Clutches tend to take a bit of a pounding. I haven't ridden the bike yet, so I don't know if the clutch needs replacing. I might even pull the cover off and pull the plates out and measure them and check them for warpage and stuff. And if it needs a new clutch in it, it'll get a new clutch. Simple as that. I do have 2 or 3 spare engines I think a couple of them have failed, but there's going to be lots of parts on those as well. So there might be one of those that's got a nearly new clutch in it, so I could use that and save some money. Jim K, oh my God, all that you're building a new bike, one piece at a time. Pretty much. I do still have an old Honda, I think it's a 750, coming in for a full restoration, full rebuild. The engine's fine. We don't have to do the engine. So the engine's going to come out, strip the frame down, strip it down to a bare frame. Frame's going to get shot blasted, painted, and then we're going to start to assemble the bike. And that's going to be a ton of videos and a lot of work. And I've got a year to do it, but the clock hasn't started yet because I've not picked it up. I just want to get all these ROVs out of the way first. I got one more done yesterday. I've got one more in the garden to do, which is more of a repair than a service. It's one that's been parked for a year. They were supposed to sell it a year ago, and they didn't. They put it in a barn, and now the throttle cable on it's seized, so it's stuck at full throttle, so you can't start it. But yeah, get that one fixed, get it back, and then I think there's one more to pick up for service. Well, and then potentially 3 more from Bethel's Beach. But I'm yet to make contact with them. I don't know what. I think they've changed. The guy that looks after the fleet has changed, so I haven't got his phone number. I might have to go down and see him. Mark Rainford, good morning, Mark. Got my first haircut today after 5 months. Got to say, I look freaking gorgeous. I need a haircut. I really do need a haircut. Oh, I smoke about it. Jim K, is there a lot of options for aftermarket parts for the DR? There is. Most of the parts that I'll be getting, the consumable parts, will be aftermarket. And that's what Darby specialise in. And Ian, good friend of mine, is busy trying to source all the parts that I need. And I'm going to go down and see him, I think, on Wednesday of next week. I'm going to call him and say hi and see how far he's got with the box of bits that I need. Killswitch BB, right, I have to go. Mrs. Killswitch, or as I call her, Mrs. Killjoy. Holy shit. Hopefully she's not listening to this. Needs me to walk the dog. Laters, fella. Catch you later. Is that code? Is it code? Walk the dog. It could mean anything, couldn't it really, Killswitch? Walk, not wall the dog. Did you put wall? You did. Oh, my brain sorted it out for you. How's that? Jim K, the new DR200 went through a redesign, I believe. It looks a lot sportier now. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Oh, man. Right, where are we now? Matterwix, if the center groove on a rear bike tire is less than 1.5 mil, but the rest of the treads either side are good, does it pass a waft? No, it doesn't. All principal grooves must meet the minimum tread depth, and the center groove is a principal groove, so it would be a fail. You've got to stop riding in straight lines and do lots more corners. Simply Diagnostics, when is spring in New Zealand? It starts to warm up here probably, oh no, really, October? I don't know, September, October time, I think. It should start to get better. I know the hottest months, I should know all this by heart now, but January, February are pretty damned hot. And so is December, to be honest. So, it's obviously going to work its way up to that. We've had a hell of a lot of rain recently, and it's bloody cold still, really is. And yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. No, day before yesterday, Friday. I was driving back up north to home, and I drove Desert Road. Now, Desert Road passes Mount Ruapehu. Mount Ruapehu has got snow to ground level to the road. There was snow either side of the road. So I actually pulled into one of the touristy car parks and I filled a bag up with snow to bring it back for Mrs. Mechanic, and she made a snowman. She was so happy. We don't get snow where I live, but there was a lot of snow down there, and the Desert Road was actually closed the day before. And that's the road that had loads of ice on it when I was driving down to do the rescue Charlotte, where I actually had quite a big slide in the Ute, in the pickup, with the trailer on. Trailer was empty, but unfortunately the dash cam had run out of memory. I hadn't stopped in time to get that footage. It would have been a pretty cool part to put on the video, but it was actually quite scary, and I was sort of half asleep when it happened, which wasn't good. Or Audi Giant, recommendations for a dirt bike. Well, it depends what you're going to be doing with the dirt bike, to be honest. There's lots of different variants out there. Are you looking at something that's going to be cheap to maintain, that doesn't need lots of servicing? In which case, DR 650s are pretty good, to be honest. They've been around a long time and they're pretty cheap and they don't need a lot of maintenance. But they're not particularly powerful. But, for most applications, you don't need, it's not all about performance. A lot of people here in New Zealand will buy motocross bikes to do enduros on, and then they whinge about how much it costs to run them. It's not good. So if you want to send me a few options that you're looking at via an email, and I'll give you some background on each of those models to hopefully steer you in the right direction. Kill Switch BB, £2 super chat, mate. You didn't have to do that. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much, Kill Switch, and enjoy your walk or wall with the dog if you are walking the dog. Enjoy it regardless. Simon Roll. 1mm for a bike in the UK. I never really got into MOTs in the UK, so it does vary a little bit to New Zealand. I'm pretty sure New Zealand is 1.5, but it's a long time since I did a warrant, so things might have changed. Christopher Gorbin, I'm now your subscriber, sir, here in Philippines, Mabuhay. Well, Christopher, welcome aboard, sir. Thank you very much. Jim K, have you ever seen guys put car tires on the rear of bikes? I can't remember what it's called. I think that's crazy just to save money. Jim, yes, I have a story on this. I was doing a warrant of fitness at a motorcycle shop. I was working there on Saturdays, a bit of extra cash, but also to keep my license. This was prior to me really focusing on the YouTube channel and giving it my weekends, sort of. And a guy rocked up with a Harley, not Tool Girl Harley, a Harley Davidson. And he asked for a warrant of fitness. So I went through the bike and did the warrant, and he failed. And he was very upset, very angry actually he was. And on the back of the bike, rear tyre, was a car tyre. Yes, he'd fitted a car tyre to the back of his bike. So I questioned him, why did you fit a car tyre? Oh, they're a lot cheaper. I said, do you not realise it's got a completely different profile to a motorcycle tyre, i.e. the tread isn't round, it's flat. So what do you think happens when you go around a corner? It's going to run on the corner of the tyre as opposed to, and the footprint, the tread pattern on the ground is going to be drastically reduced, and chances are the back end is going to slide. Not to mention, there's also a more serious problem other than that, which is serious enough, is that the bead profile on a car tyre is different to the bead profile on a motorcycle tyre, which means the rim to tyre bead interface is completely wrong. I even managed to find some information on it that was in the States on a website, and the problem is that that bead can fail and the tyre can deflate instantly, which therefore would potentially cause loss of control and potentially an accident, stroke, death. And he didn't seem too bothered. He says, nah, just give me the warrant, mate, it's all I want. And I says, you're not having the warrant, simple as that. So in the end, we agreed to give him a refund and send him on his way to go and find somewhere else to get a warrant. But I did flag it on the system that he had a car tyre fitted, so anybody else that was going to do a warrant of fitness on that bike would obviously be checking the rear tyre and taking note that I'd failed the bike because of such. Yes, we can't be having that kind of stuff, can we? That was ridiculous. Car Guy 72. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Car Guy 72. Welcome aboard. What time are we on now? We've been going just over an hour. I'm going to cut this at an hour and a half, so we've got another half an hour to go. Jim K, dark side or something like that. Yeah, honestly, I just couldn't. There was no logic. I mean, yeah, sure, you're going to maybe save a few dollars on a tyre, but it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Motorcycles are all about handling and being able to go around corners. And Christ, I wouldn't even want to ride that bike in its current state. Honestly, it was terrible. Matawix, it's called dark siding. Is that right? Okay. Matawix, Goldwing riders like dark siding. Well, it's just wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. I mean, there's a rule in the warrant of fitness here in New Zealand that if the component wasn't originally intended to be used for that particular vehicle type, then it shouldn't be used, and that certainly comes into play with that tire. The guy that designed that car tire, or the team that designed it, never for 1 minute even considered that anybody would be stupid enough to fit it to the back of a motorcycle. And it's not often I'm strong on my words, but I think the guy was a complete moron. I really do. It's just completely the wrong thing to do. And whether it's a culture amongst that style of motorcycle owner, I don't know. But bottom line is, it shouldn't be on the road. It's not safe for a number of reasons. Now, what else have I got? Oh, yes. So I went on Wednesday this week, those that have just joined us, I went to a company in Christchurch called Aerofast. And I did a video that morning on how they make ratchet straps. And if you look up on the beam, there's a ratchet strap now on the beam with Andy Mechanic on it. They made me 2 bespoke ratchet straps with my name on. And we filmed the whole process of those 2 straps being made, which was brilliant. Really enjoyed it, and the video will be out in the next few weeks. I've got to produce a draft edit, flick it down to Eddie, who's the owner down there of the business, for him to vet, make any minor changes that he wants changing if there are any needed, and then it can go live on the channel. I also need to find some time to do the editing. I'm halfway through editing up the video where I inspect Tool Girl Holly's new old battered farm bike, and hopefully I'll get that finished off this afternoon if I have enough time, and then it should be live on the channel in the next 48 hours or so. So you'll have a nice video there to watch with Tool Girl Holly helping me in the workshop, going through and inspecting that bike and making a very long list of components that need to be replaced. But while I was down at Aerofast, not only did we do the testing, the in-house testing of a ratchet strap to make sure that it meets their internal ratings, and that's the impact damage of the ratchet itself after the strap failed and it fired across the room and it hit the wall. And this is a specially built cage that they test them in. Obviously it's quite safe, but it went off with quite a loud bang, and you can see the amount of force caused to bend up that strap, and it put quite a big dent in the metal plate, the tin plate at the end of the facility. So yeah, and the actual fail wasn't the webbing, it was actually one of the hooks. Look at that, pretty cool. Thoroughly enjoyed my trip down there and the couple of hours that the lads gave me. But they also gave me, other than the bespoke ratchet straps that we made, they also gave me one of these. Ooh, look at this. So I mentioned that I'm often transporting stuff in the trailer, that lots of loose items, and it's very important these days that your load is secure. You can't just chuck things in the trailer and go for a drive. You've got to strap things down. So they gave me one of these, which is basically a full sort of a web, a netting that goes across the back, designed for Utes, but I can use it on the trailer as well. And you can just sling it over all the bits and pieces, all the crap that you've got in the trailer, and it stops any of it flying out. So they're not a sponsor of the channel, they are a supporter of the channel, obviously, because they gave me one of these and some ratchet straps and invested some time in allowing me to make a video there as well, which was fantastic. That was the main reason for going. I had no idea they were going to give me one of these, and I'm very, very grateful, and I'll be using this later on today, so I'll give you some feedback. So it should be good. And it's 8 foot by 5 foot, I think, so it'll only cover a proportion of my big trailer, but still very, very useful indeed, and hopefully will stop me losing things out of the trailer. Now, what else have we got? Jim K, do they make custom straps? They do make custom straps, and that was the reason why I originally dealt with them. Hang on, I can grab you. I can grab one for you. Here we go. So, up until very recently, I've been using ratchet straps that I purchased in the UK probably 20 years ago, and they've, obviously, given their age, most of them have died and snapped and, seized up, and the webbing had frayed and stuff. So I took one of the last existing ones down, and I said to Chris, was the guy I dealt with, I said, Chris, I needed to replicate this. Can you make me a ratchet strap to this size and configuration and loading and stuff? And he said, of course we can, no problem, Andy. So they made me these. Now this one is a 2 meter long ratchet strap. It's got the coated eyes at each end, and they've been used quite a bit already. Again, on that end there, I find these really easy to hook on, really quick, they're fast. I tend to use a lot of straps when I'm strapping things down, mainly to compensate for my driving style. And the webbing is actually really thick. I like that a lot. The reason why I like it is when you're tying off the tail, the excess strap, it doesn't tie into a really tight knot. You know, you can tie it off like that, but it's really easy to get it undone again later on. Now, some of you will say to me, Andy, you should wrap it up. You know, there's a special technique the truck drivers use where they wrap up the strap, the tail, and it just hangs there. I'm not a fan. I've seen a few of those come loose. In actual fact, somebody showed me how to do it on one of the straps on my trailer when I was at a truck stop one day. And about an hour later, it unraveled and it was dragging on the ground. So I tend not to go with that technique. But I was so impressed by the straps that they made me and the fact that they really listened to me as a customer and were happy to make a bespoke strap to my specification. Really, it said to me, that's fantastic. You know, this is a company that really earned my respect. And using the straps, well, they do everything that I want. They're easy to use. The ratchet mechanism is nice and easy. It doesn't jam or anything like that. And very happy. So I went back and I filmed the process of how to make ratchet straps, which is a very different kind of video, but I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. I thought it was a real insight into the investment and the technology and just the dedication of the team there as well. Very good. And some of the staff there have been working there 25 years. They've got a really stable, group of staff that man those machines. Very good. Now then, George. Good morning, Andy. Everyone. Good morning, George. I'm still on my coffee. It is very cold now, though. Another little segue. If you haven't yet, and I know a lot of you already have now, if you haven't yet purchased your Andy Mechanic official mug, and there's lots of different variations now because I've launched a lot of Tool Girl mugs as well. So you've got to go onto the Zazzle website and check that out. That's www.zazzle.co.nz. Just do a search Andy Mechanic YouTube, one word. It'll take you through to the official Andy Mechanic store, and you will see a great range of different official Andy Mechanic mugs now on there. You can get those thermos mugs as well. And I've also done some Tool Girl toolbox stickers. I have, and I've already ordered some myself, so I'm looking forward to those arriving. And whatever you purchase, any of the Andy Mechanic merch, and I think the stickers are about the cheapest on there, send through on an email a selfie, or even just a picture of the sticker on your toolbox, if it is a sticker that you get, or if it's a mug, in your workshop, maybe with you holding the mug would be nice, like this. Flick it through, and I'll put you in the draw to win that big pack of 10 tools and Forge sprays and greases and that kind of thing. And also some Andy Mechanic merch I'll throw in there as well, including an official jacket. So there's definitely something to win as well, and it's your way of another way that you can support the channel. And it's also great to see your workshops and to see your garage and whatever. Right, where were we? Jim K. Andy, have you ever videoed your trailer? I would like to see your setup. That is a video I've been waiting to do for a long time. The problem is, last cigarette, that's not good, is it? The problem is, 9 times out of 10, on my trailer, at the time that I think, I'll do a video, I have a vehicle that's a particular brand and it can't appear in the videos. So that puts a stop to it straight away. However, I'm going up to Kai Tire tomorrow, and once I've left Arewa and dropped off the ROV, there won't be a product on the trailer other than some tires. So maybe if I get time, I've got 900 kilometers to drive tomorrow, so it'll be a very short video, but it might be a quick walk around of the trailer, run through some of the features on it, and flick it out on the channel for those that are interested, because I did upgrade my trailer. I've still got the old one, but I bought a new Eiffel Williams trailer about a year ago, which is a triaxle. It's a full capacity 3.5 ton trailer. It's 5.7 meters long, I think, on the bed, by 2.3 meters wide. It's got sides that you can take on and off, which, so I can make it a complete flatbed if need be, or I can have sides that are probably, I don't know, maybe 1.5 foot high, 18 inches high. Very, very useful trailer. All 6 wheels are braked. tows really well. Very impressed with it. And the tires run at 120 psi. It's got 10 ply tires on it, so good commercial style tires. And I don't have any problems at all. Not like I used to do with those crappy King's tires that were on the little trailer. Although saying that, I'll give you some feedback. We've fixed that problem by buying some good quality tires. That's all it was. They were just rubbish. Where are we now? Yes, so Jim, I will definitely be doing a video on the trailer. It's on the cards. Maybe I'll be able to do it on this next trip. If not, I'll do it another day. But it's definitely on the list. And I want to do a video on it because I like that trailer. And I've been a supporter of I Williams trailers for 20 years. A long, long time. Never looked at another brand of trailer since, to be honest. George, morning car guy 72. UK weekend workshop. I'm a UK MOT tester, and a few years ago I failed a car for having compression fittings used to repair a hydraulic brake pipe. Fine in the US, but not in the UK. The driver was American. Big argument. Yeah, here in New Zealand, we used to be able to use, the braided brake lines, the flexible, like the Goodrich hoses and stuff. And in the UK, we used to use olives and fittings that you could screw on the end. And I actually got a couple of quad bikes here, which I've changed the fittings. And I think Mrs. Mechanics SR125's got one that I replaced as well on the front. But they changed the law here in New Zealand, where no longer could you use the ones that you could unbolt with the olives. They had to be a crimped style union. In actual fact, the way that it was phrased in the Warrant of Fitness was you couldn't have the ability to undo the banjo, the union. So obviously customers spotted this and they thought, if I put a bit of shrink wrap, down the braiding before I fit the union and then slide it up and shrink wrap around the nut, that'll be good enough because I can't get my spanner on anymore. And it was a bit of a grey area, but I think they've clarified it now. I don't do warrants anymore, so I don't know the current specs on those. But I think the bottom line is they wanted you to use crimp type hoses. And that caused a real problem because the angle of the banjos had to be set just right when you made it. Otherwise, because those braided hoses, they don't like to be twisted. Otherwise, they create a loop and stuff. So it made it a real problem in the workshop trying to measure up and work out exactly what you wanted. And then you placed the order over the phone or via an email, and then the hose turned up, and you've only had to be a few degrees out, and the hose wouldn't sit right, and you couldn't change it. Bit of a problem, to be honest. Oh, it's gone out again. What the hell? Too much talking. So yeah, people do get very upset, and we had the same upset customers here in New Zealand when that law changed. Or that requirement changed. UK Weekend Workshop. The American driver tried to explain to me that the US rules should apply everywhere, as they were the best at everything they did. I had to educate him in a polite manner. Yeah, people skills is definitely something that you have to have as a warrior fitness guy for sure, or an MOT guy, to be honest. You've got to be able to bring people round and make them understand why the rules are the way they are. Jim K, how many ROVs can you fit on the trailer? I can fit 2 full-size ROVs on there. If I make a little ramp at the front and put a little beaver tail on the back, again, frames that can be just slotted in, I would then be able to get a 6-seater and a 3-seater on the trailer in one go. But to be honest, it's pretty rare that I would need to do that. And the amount of work involved to make those 2 frames up and get them galvanized, it's not really worth it. It's big enough, to be honest. I can get 2 on there quite happily. 2 of the 3-seaters, by the way. And I can also get a 3-seater, a couple of quad bikes, and a couple of 2 motorcycles on there. So it's big enough. It does the job. It doesn't want to be any bigger, really. And the next size up that I Williams do was a 2.5 meter wide. It was actually 2.55 meters wide, which is over width for New Zealand. The maximum trailer width you're allowed for domestic is 2.5 meters, so it wouldn't have passed a warrant of fitness. So I stayed away from that. Simon, UK Weekend Workshop. It's things like that that prove the MOT system works exactly. Matterwix, what's the longest you would store a bike without starting it? Oh, man, my KTMs, both of them haven't been started for 18 months. They're going to need the carb cleaning out. I know they are. We've got ATVs here which haven't been started for 3 or 4 years. I don't get a lot of time to work on my own stuff, to be honest, but I know that they'll start. They're actually bloody good bikes. They really are. But you know, if you're going to mothball a bike, then really you need to drain all the fuel out of it. Maybe put some kind of preservative in the carbs, stop the aluminium furring up. It's quite a big job, to be honest, to make sure that there's no damage. I mean, personally, I'd probably just let the carb off and put it, spray it down and put it in a box, just to protect it, really. But I just haven't done it. I should have done it. I'm like a plumber with a dripping tap. That's the problem. I do try to start the bikes every few weeks, the ones that I use regularly, and I do regularly charge the batteries on them as well. Robert Hickey, UK Weekend Workshop. I'm in New Jersey, USA. I think compression fittings are not allowed here. Yeah, maybe it varies from state to state around the US as well. So there's another problem. UK Weekend Workshop. It was the front to rear steel brake pipe, but at least here in the UK we can use copper or conifer. I've still got some conifer rolls here with me, and I actually use that on trailer repairs, which I know I shouldn't do in New Zealand because they only like steel over here for some strange reason. Matterwix, if you paint your bike a different colour, will it still pass a WOF? Yes. What's the procedure if you want to change colour? Well, it will still pass the warrant of fitness. The colour is irrelevant to the warrant. However, you should notify Land Transport that the bike now is that the main colour of the bike has changed. Just for your what we call the in England we call it the logbook, so everything matches. Jim, the driver lied. Compression fittings are not legal in the US either. I replaced lots of brake lines, and I can tell you for sure that he was wrong. It's good to know, isn't it? But when you know, and you can stand your ground. Just say no. It's just not. It doesn't meet the requirements. Jim K. Max width here in the States is 2.59 meters. Wow. So the I for Williams, the big I for Williams, which is I think 6.2 meters long and 2.5 meters wide, would be lawful over there. But you've got bigger trucks as well, haven't you? Your full-size pickups are a lot wider than our vehicles over here. UK Weekend Workshop. Robert Hickey. It was a few years ago. I had to work with what the driver was telling me at the time, and I know that the laws change state to state in the US. There you go. Jim Haynes. We can also use nickel copier lines also. Yeah, I don't understand why New Zealand's so against using conifer, to be honest. I don't have a problem with it. I know it works really well, and I just underseal over it when I've finished, and then nobody can tell. I just want to use up what I've got. George, it's okay to repair the gear cable connection at the gearbox end with a pair of zip ties for reinforcement on a Suzuki Swift. I don't think, well, in the warrant of fitness, the gear selection element for your gearbox isn't covered. So as long as you can get your gears, I don't think it will be a fail. Mike Adams, hi all, sorry I'm late. I just finished mowing 3 yards. Wow. I don't cut grass. I haven't cut the lawn for years. I really haven't. What are we on now? 1 hour 23 minutes. So we've got another seven minutes or so to go, chaps. Don't worry, Mike, you're on board. That's all that matters. Robert Hickey, back in the 70s, I helped a buddy with his Volkswagen Beetle. When you stepped on the brake, the line that followed the tunnel squirted. Squirted you in the face. Oh, God. I think it needs fixing, don't you? The Traveling Carpenter. Hi, Andy. Sorry, running late. Hope you had a great week. I had a very busy 2 weeks. It was 12 days of work. Well, almost 12 days of work. I took Wednesday morning off this week and did a video down at Aerofast that make the Ratchet straps. They're based in Christchurch. So that video will be out in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. I've just got to get it edited up, draft, and then get it signed off by Aerofast that they're happy with it to go public. and then make any adjustments, and then it'll go live, and it'll be the first one on how they make things. And maybe, just maybe, if it proves popular, then I might do a few more of those, because I actually really enjoyed doing that video. I found it quite an insight, and by having a YouTube channel, it gives me that leverage to open these doors and go into factories and see how things are done. And they were very, very accommodating down there, and I was very much appreciative of both Eddie and Chris and the rest of the team for allowing me to go into their factory and do some filming, because some companies are very much against that kind of thing, but they were very much open doors, nothing to hide. They were very proud of what they do, and they've been doing it for a very, very long time as well. Richard Asperger. Hello, Andy. Greetings from Dorset in the UK. Good morning, Richard. Good to have you on board, matey. Golly, it's really cold in here now. I need to sort out some kind of heating, don't I? So what else have I got? I think I've covered everything I needed to cover this morning. Can't think of, oh, I know what I can cover. Very impressed by this. Now, because I travel so much and I use a lot of electronic equipment like phones and laptops and tablets and things, I do often rely on power packs to charge my phone. And one of my power packs, which is this one here, I have two of these. These are made by Swiss Mobility. Really good. I think there are 15,000 thingamajigs. I think they are 18,000 milliamp hours is what that is. That's the spec on the back. There you are, look. Is that in focus? Almost in focus. There you are, look. And really, really good. You can see it's actually charging the phone that I'm filming on now, just to make sure it doesn't go flat. And it does last a long time. But one of them gave up. It stopped working for some reason. Don't know why. So I went out and bought another one. And I was a bit dubious because I was going to get the same one again, but I couldn't find it. So I bought a Belkin. Now, Belkin, not a sponsor. I've used their products for a while, which has been the USB cables. And I have a problem with my S6, which is the little charge port down here where it plugs in, is a bit temperamental. It's been temperamental for a while, but the Belkin ones seem to fit really, really well. So I've stuck with that brand and don't really have too much of a problem. So I bought their power pack, and this is awesome. It's doing everything it asks for, and the little LEDs, which are on the side there, look, are a lot less bright, which means if you're charging your phone at night, it's not like having a disco in the room. With these ones are ridiculously bright, and it actually keeps waking me up. So I have to cover it with my phone to try and hide them. So these are really good. If you're looking to buy a power pack, I strongly recommend the Belkin one, or the Swiss one, to be honest. But very, very good indeed. This one is slightly smaller. It hasn't got any specs on it at all. It was all on the packaging, but I think this is 15,000 milliamps, which is almost the same size. Does a good job. Now then, golly, there's loads. Jim K, what's the temperature? I don't know, but and that's not smoke. It's actually pretty chilly. It's probably about 4 degrees, I would reckon, at the moment. Duke of the Dales. Hi, Andy. Sorry I'm late. That was me on my other YouTube channel, The Traveling Carpenter. Ah, there you go. Good man. You see, I had no idea. I only have one YouTube channel. I don't have time for two. I really don't. Simon, George, I drove a Daewoo Lanos 50 miles with a keyring holding the gear linkage together. The ball had fallen out. Oh, shit. Mike Adams, how it's made type videos are very interesting. I found it really, really interesting. I mean, the filming was, I could have done a better job filming if I had more time, but they only gave me 2 hours maximum in the workshop. So there was a lot of handy cam stuff going on where I was just holding the camera on the tripod. I didn't have time to set the camera up static. And to be honest, the machines were all standalone, and it would have been quite difficult to get the camera angles and stuff. So by holding it manually, I was able to get right close into the machine so you could see exactly how the weaving was being done, or how each process was being done, actually. It was really good. It was almost like a fly on the wall kind of video, really. It was cool. I watched all the footage and it came out very well. I just need to edit it up and get it approved by Aerofast before it goes public. Matterwex has been freezing this week in Auckland. It has, I've been told of that. Graham McLucky, I love mowing lawns. If I had a ride on a lawnmower, Ben's got one, which is very dangerous. I would be far more inclined to mow the lawns, and that will happen one day. I don't know when, but it will happen. Mike Adams, I don't know what kind of rig stroke vehicle you drive for work, but do you use power inverters? I have a Ford Ranger. It's about 2017. It's not a full-size pickup, it's sort of a mid-size pickup. 3.2 turbo diesel, 6-speed auto, and it's actually really good. I've had it about a year. I've done about 70,000 kilometers in it now in the last 12 months, and never lets me down. It's due another, in fact, it's overdue another service. It's booked in on Wednesday, actually. Booked in Wednesday for a service again, and it does great. The only problem I have going from a Holden Commodore, which is an estate car, or what do you call it, a station wagon over in the States, to the Ute, is the cab space. There's a lot less room inside the cab for all my gear. I can't put anything in the tray of any value that can be damaged by water, because the tray's got a cover over it, a hard cover over it, but it does leak tremendously. So any kind of cardboard boxes and stuff that you put in the back in the tray would get wet and fall apart. I keep all my ratchet straps and stuff in the back in the tray. That's not a problem, but for anything else like my toolbox, the tools would very quickly start to go rusty. So I have to keep my toolbox in the back of the cab. I have the seat folded up and the toolbox is in there with all my diagnostic gear and stuff. Plus it's a lot more secure. Do I use power inverters? The car actually has a built-in 240 volt outlet on the center console, which is really good for charging my laptop between meetings. It's really useful, is that actually. I do have a power inverter from the UK, which I've never used. It's in a box just over there, actually, made by, oh, who makes it? I think it's made by, yeah, it's made by Ring, I think. But yeah, it's still in the box, never used it. But that's obviously got the UK plug on it. Now then, Matterwex, my section is sloped and has to be weed eated. It's a depressing job. I did buy a new weed eater for Ben, actually, for doing the garden here. Ben's sort of our go-to gardener for that kind of stuff. He loves chomping through the weeds. Husqvarna one, a good one, a commercial one that I bought, and there might be a video on that one day as well, because it is good. I used to have a Husqvarna chainsaw. Very impressed. Simply Diagnostics, still there. Belkin, same as I've got. It's brilliant. Good choice for a power bank. Thanks for the feedback. I do like that, and I use it all the time, especially when I'm filming as well. You know, you've got to keep the old phone charged up, because when you're filming, for a few hours, you can lose a lot of time waiting for phones to charge. So what I do is I get the old, well, in fact, it's normally this one. I get the power bank and I just zip tie it to the tripod and keep the phone charging as much as I possibly can. And that I've found that does, reduce downtime when you're filming. Biggest problem now is obviously memory in the phone, and the one that you're on at the moment, the S20, I think is 128 gigabyte storage, and about half of it's used up with other stuff. So it's about 60 gigs available for filming, which is normally ample. I film at 1080 on the phones, and all the videos are filmed using a phone. It's incredible, isn't it? It's come out really well. Mike Adams, on the heating subject, have you ever used one of those waste oil heaters? No, but we had one at Dad's garage, which was bloody awesome, and it was plumbed into a tank that the lads would just put the waste oil in out of the cars when they were servicing. So it really cost us very little to run, other than a bit of servicing now and again. And it was a big box. It was probably about 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, big square box, had some big fins on the front. I was only a kid when I saw it, but it used to warm the whole showroom where the cars were, as well as the workshop. Very impressive piece of kit, to be honest. The heater I used to have in the UK was a diesel, one of those like torpedo style heaters, which in all honesty was way over the job for the little workshop that we had, and you had to keep turning it off before you, well, melted basically. George, Simon Roll, thank you for that excellent tip, which might help me in the future on the road. Duke of the Dales, Husqvarna make a beautiful motorcycle called the 900 Nuda. Yeah, I've never been a fan of Husqvarna motorcycles, to be honest. I don't know why, but I just haven't. But I do like the chainsaws and the weed eaters, or strimmers we call them in the UK. Right, crew, we're almost there. I think we'll do one more plug for the old mugs, and then, well, I'm going to have to get a fresh coffee because this one is freezing cold now. So, if you haven't yet been onto the Zazzle website, so go on to www.zazzle.co.nz, or and just do a search Andy Mechanic YouTube, one word. You're going to see lots of different merch that I've put together now for the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. There's lots of different mugs. I've done a range, I'm in the process of doing a range of mugs for all the various tool girls as well. And I've also done some toolbox stickers, tool girl toolbox stickers, should I say. Now, I haven't got any to show you because my order is, well, it's actually, I've just got a notification through yesterday. It's all been made and it's now in shipment. And with me being in freezy cold New Zealand at the moment, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for them to get here. I did get a delivery on Friday afternoon of some more of these mugs, because I'm going to give one to Jared. Spoiler alert, Jared, if you're watching. I'm going to give one to Jared and one to Brandon at ISL Industrial. They're the guys that supply me all the Tang tools for the channel as well. So just as a token gesture, I just say thank you very much. And hopefully they're going to like them, because they've got all the logos on it. So we've got Forge up there, look. We've got the Tang Tools one. Try not to drop it. We've got the Pico Technologies logo, and of course Nobby, and they're the most recent supporters for the channel, providing the underwear for the tool girls. Not that you probably get to see it very often, but you know, it's good to know that they're well supported. Now then, Simply Diagnostics. Get the mugs ordered and don't forget to give Andy a thumbs up, folks. We'll drop you an email, Andy. Cheers, matey. I appreciate that. And I will get your, if you flick me through the logo, a high-res version of your logo, you obviously got it because you've been doing your t-shirts and stuff. Flick it through. I'll get that embroidered onto the shirt that I'm going to send you, and tell me what size you want as well. Or send me your sizing, and I'll match the size of shirt to your sizing. That's probably the best way of doing it, really. That we're going to get the right size for you. But no, that'd be cool. Very cool indeed. Look forward to that. Mike Adams, I have a 3000 watt inverter in my pickup. It's one of those tools I don't hardly use at all anymore since I quit long haul driving, but it's handy when needed. Yeah, I think if I didn't have the built-in, and I don't think it's a particularly powerful one, but if I didn't have the built-in one, then charging the laptop would become a real problem. I remember on my old laptop, my Sony that I had, I actually bought a 12 volt cigarette lighter plug charger for it, which wasn't cheap at all, to be honest. It was quite expensive, and actually hardly ever used it, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, having an inverter in your car these days is a real bonus. And the one that I got from England, the Ring one, was supposed to go in the Nissan Patrol that I have before we did the big long trip, but I never got around to fitting it. So I just said, oh, we'll take it with us. We'll find a space in the car for it, and I'll fit it when I get to New Zealand. And I never got around to it. So it's still in the box. Am I going to sell it? Probably not. Am I going to use it? I don't think so. Who knows? It's there. Something will come along where I need to use it. Ben might put it in his pickup truck. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, crew. Well, we've done the plug for the Andy Mechanic mugs again. There you go. Look, so just to follow on, Zazzle, www.zazzle.co.nz. Check it out. There's loads and loads of stuff. And, you know, there'll be more different merch items going on there in the future as well. Okay, crew, well, I'm going to get some breakfast. It's been great having you all here. I really enjoyed the conversations that we have. And it's testament, really, that we were able to put together a video that's nearly an hour and 40 minutes long, just really responding to your comments and discussions and talking about the world in general and bits and pieces. I don't really have a lot of content when I do these videos very often, the live streams. My mind is also planning what else I've got to do today. But today, fortunately, is not going to be too much like hard work. I've just got a lot of parts to put in one of the sheds, a lot of tyres to take out and load up, an ROV to strap down, and a video to finish editing of Tool Girl Holly, helping me to check out her destroyed DR200, which will be out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Well, the next couple of days, actually, hopefully, if I get that finished edited today. Editing takes a lot of time, unfortunately. Okay, crew, well, it has been great to have you on board. Thank you very much. And for those that have already bought a mug, Jeez. Please remember to send me through a selfie on my email. That's andymechanic@live.co.uk. Send me through a selfie with you and your mug, and you'll go into the draw to win a heap of stuff that we're doing in December. The draw is going to be held in December some point, and I'll get that shipped out to you once it's all put together. Okay, crew, thanks again, and see you next Sunday, if not before. Cheers. Over and out.